presentation, I'll analyze Whiplash through mise-en-scène, cinematography, editing, and sound to explore how these formal elements support the hero's journey. The film transforms a classic monomyth into a psychological descent driven by ambition, abuse, and obsession. Whiplash uses the structure of the hero's journey but distorts it. Instead of a noble calling or spiritual awakening, Andrew's journey is driven by a toxic mentorship and destructive perfectionism. The film still follows key monomyth steps, but each is reframed through pressure, anxiety, and fear. In the ordinary world, Andrew is shown as isolated but determined. The mise-en-scène emphasizes a small, dark practice room, outdated drum set, and minimal social interaction. Everything visually communicates limitation and confinement. The call to adventure is the moment where Fletcher, the director of the band, first notices Andrew practicing. But crucially, Fletcher is not impressed. He hears Andrew, watches coldly, and dismisses what he sees. There is no immediate invitation. When Andrew finally meets Fletcher again, the mentor relationship begins, but it's adversarial from the start. Fletcher's methods are brutal, and he doesn't welcome Andrew gently. In the film's editing, we already see a recurring technique: rapid back and forth cuts between Fletcher and Andrew. This visual rhythm mirrors their power struggle, the repeated testing and humiliation that defines their relationship throughout the film. Although Andrew accepts, there is still internal hesitation, a refusal to the call. This is shown through color. Yellow is a key visual motive in Whiplash, representing Andrew's emotional state. During his reluctance, the insecurity, the yellow tones are dull, muted, and almost sickly. But once Andrew officially joins the studio band, the yellows return, but this time vibrant, bold, intense. The lighting becomes hotter and harsher, symbolizing both opportunity and pressure. This is Andrew stepping into an entirely different world. He has crossed into a realm where pain and excellence blur. This is where Andrew faces brutal trials, rapid tempo changes, public humiliation, and rivals like the other drummers in the band. The editing is fast, rhythmic, and almost percussive, mirroring the intensity of drumming itself. In the intense scene where Fletcher pushes all the drummers to their limit, the camera movement shifts dramatically. It starts with clean, sharp, aggressive cuts, matching the rigid precision Fletcher demands. But as Andrew's exhaustion and desperation grow, the perspective shifts closer to him, becoming slightly shaky and more subjective, almost like a POV shot. The movement mirrors his deteriorating stability, blurring technique with panic. The ordeal is literal and metaphorical. Andrew gets into a violent car crash, but it still drags himself to the performance. The editing becomes chaotic and fragmented, mirroring his disorientation. Sound grows muffled, then piercing. His failed attempt on stage is his death moment, the collapse of his dream, and the shattering of his image of himself as a future great. After the ordeal, the film enters a gray, muted phase. Color drains from the frame. No warmth, no vibrancy. Andrew quits music, symbolically dying as a drummer. The mise-en-scène becomes empty and lifeless. Bare walls, quiet places, slow pacing. When Fletcher invites Andrew to join his new ensemble, the tones become smooth and warm again. But this warmth is deceptive, a visual trap. The lighting suggests hope and reconciliation, but the audience senses it's a setup. The moment feels like a reward, but it's really the final manipulation that pushes Andrew towards the climax. Andrew decides to return to music and perform in Fletcher's new band, but the tension builds again. The cinematography becomes tighter and more suffocating. This is Andrew marching back into danger. He wants his second chance, but the film makes it clear this road leads not to glory, but confrontation. In the final performance, Andrew is humiliated by Fletcher's trap, but instead of breaking, he resurrects. The scene becomes an audiovisual explosion, rapid cuts, sweaty close-ups, intense lighting, and jazz rhythms colliding with Andrew's determination. He seizes control, reaches transcendence through his final drum solo, and achieves apotheosis not as a hero, but as someone fully consumed by his obsession. Fletcher is a master manipulator, believing abuse is necessary to create greatness. He uses psychological warfare, gaslighting, intimidation, emotional sabotage. His philosophy centers on the idea that suffering produces brilliance. The character embodies a toxic mentor archetype driven by grief, ego, and tradition. His methods blur the line between dedication and cruelty, shaping Andrew by destroying him. Andrew completes his journey with a newfound power, master of his craft, the return with the elixir. But this victory comes with dark implications. The final back and forth between him and Fletcher, through rapid, extreme close ups, mirrors their very first encounter. It's a full circle moment, visually and narratively. Andrew returns changed, but the question is whether the transformation is triumph or corruption. The ending can be seen as triumphant. Andrew proves himself, takes control, and earns Fletcher's respect. But it can also be seen as tragic. To reach this moment, he sacrificed everything: his physical and mental health, his relationships, his humanity. He nearly died, yet kept pushing. In this reading, the villain wins. Fletcher successfully shapes Andrew into the very thing he wanted, no matter the cost. Whiplash blends drama with psychological thriller elements. The film uses tension, dread, manipulation, and emotional volatility to create a thriller like atmosphere, but it also functions as a sports film without the sport, following the underdog narrative modified with obsession, violence, and high stakes competition. In conclusion, Whiplash uses cinematography, editing, sound, and mise-en-scène and color to reimagine the hero's journey as a psychological spiral. Andrew's path isn't about enlightenment, it's about obsession and sacrifice. Every formal element reinforces the tension, creating a film that questions whether greatness is worth the cost. In the end, Whiplash celebrates talent but exposes the brutality behind its creation.